Welcome, welcome.
Yeah,
We'll just start in a
we
minute.
can start. We are happy today to welcome you to our webinar, How Lufthansa CityLine Improved QA Efficiency with X-Ray and Yest. So we can move to the next page. Thank you, Oliver. And I'm Guzal Husanova, a partner manager and customer success manager at Smart Testing. I work closely with our clients and partners to improve QA process by implementing efficient test design and automation strategies. So I'm joined by our partners, Sergio, Oliver, and Marvin. I will let them to introduce themselves. Sergio, please take away.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome. So I'm Sergio. I'm the Director of Solution Architecture at Xray. I was also a former product manager for Xray for quite a few years. And I usually work with the testing community, trying to understand how people use our products, so how they do testing, what are the needs, and try to get that feedback so we can address at least some of these needs in our own product Xray. So I have a mix. I do a mix of roles actually. So I work internally for the team, and I also work externally for the community. And that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sergio. So let me just quickly take over. So I'm Oliver from Germany, located here in Frankfurt. And yeah, what I would say, I always say I'm a quality evangelist. So what is a quality evangelist? So I go to the customers and with my quality flag, and then I talk about, hey, let's don't forget quality, or how you can improve your quality processes with regards to test management and all that stuff. But I will come later to that point, because that is the reason why we are here today. And I'll hand over to Marvin.
Yes, I'm Marvin. I'm a project manager at Cimt, also in Frankfurt. And with a project perspective, I just want that it works. And how this will work, we will see later. But when I have questions regarding quality, then I go to Oliver. And he talked to me about this model-based testing, and we will see what we did with that in this webinar.
So Marvin is the one who brings the challenges to me, discussing with me which possible solutions we have. And we have a cool solution for you, which you will see in the webinar.
Thank you. So here what you can expect today. We will start with a quick introductions of Smart Testing, X-Ray, and Cimt. So it's a co-hosted webinar. Then Oliver and Marvin will dive into CityLine, Lufthansa CityLine's context and explain why they chose Yest and Xray integration, along with some key benefits they have seen so far. And we will follow that with a short live demo, and you will also hear a customer testimonial. And at the end, of course, we will have a live Q&A session. Just for your questions, we kindly ask you to use the Q&A session of the Zoom platform, not the chat. This will help us make sure that we will answer to all your questions. The presentation will last about 40 minutes, followed by 10 minutes for your questions. And if we don't have time to answer to all your questions, then we will get back to you by email afterwards. And before you leave, there will be a short survey, and we kindly ask you to take a moment to answer to the survey. And we can start by the presentation of Smart Testing. Smart Testing is a French software company that specializes in software testing and quality engineering. Smart Testing is recognized as a leader in model-based testing and is known for its expertise in applying AI in into software testing. Our solutions include Yest, which is a visual test design tool that helps QA teams create the smartest test cases based on requirements or existing manual tests, and achieving that, of course, 40% faster. Yest reinvents test design by combining visualization, collaboration, and performance, and which helps teams gain control over test complexity, test coverage, and adapt easily to requirement changes. And Gravity is a SaaS platform which analyzes user behavior and assists testers to develop in understanding of user habits by identifying undertested user journeys. Our solutions leverage the power of visual representations to align team members and enhance testing efficiency. They incorporate as well AI assistance to accelerate the testing process. And finally, Smart Testing offers a specialized AI training for in testing domain. The training is conducted by experts and focuses on hands-on exercise. And that's all for Smart Testing. Now I will hand it over to Sergio to introduce Xray.
Thanks, Gonzalo. So Xray, in a nutshell, we exist since 2013. That's really a long time, and I was lucky to be at the start of that journey, making the initial specification for it. And back then, test management was really, let's say, an unknown tool out there. And we are now the #1 tool, not just the #1 test management tool in Atlassian Marketplace, but the top app on the Atlassian Marketplace, which is really awesome. So we started with offices in Portugal. We are now in the US, and we are spread all over all over the world with customers in more than 100 countries. We have more than, we know that we have more than 10 million users using our tool, which is really a lot, and more than 10,000 customers. And we are always making new releases of our products, so we don't keep, we are not stale. So we are going to deliver very cool features in the short term. I cannot tell you much about it, but stay tuned. But Xray, it's a product that has like the test management, also an exploratory app, which is this T-shirt that I have here that you can quickly see. And we have also a side companion app for doing reports in Jira into PDFs and Excel with information from Jira and also from Xray. But Xray, at Xray, we are always trying to see how we can combine different practices, different approaches, including manual testing, but also test automation and exploring testing in a single tool. And that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Sergio. So let me just quickly take over. And yeah, who's Cimt? Who are we? So the good news is that this year we can celebrate our 25th anniversary with a big event in the Netherlands end of September. And what is our profession? So we're in Cimt, we have experts supporting you in all these different areas with data analytics, SAP, process orchestration. I'm pretty sure that on the handout you can read everything in detail. And my profession is, and this is why we're here today. So we also have experts in test management, test process improvements, and we started this journey in 2013. Experts in model-based testing, and with our customer, it's Lufthansa CityLine, we just brought 3 tools together, or not 3 tools. Oh, we brought 3 tools together. It's Jira, it's Xray, which is perfectly integrated in Jira. So you will see that definitely also later. And Yest, and with that model-based testing approach, or yeah, why did we do this, Marvin?
Yeah, so Lufthansa, sure. When you want to fly somewhere, yeah, what do you need? You need a crew, and you need a pilot, of course, that can operate the plane. And to get this operated, you have a whole system of applications and a really complex landscape. So you have a certain type of complexity in the software, and the problem that we have, and that most of this problem has, is that the departments know their business best. Then you have the developers that are more like the technical perspective, and you have the testers that can do the quality control on that. And they somehow have to work together to reach their goals. And there is where the model comes in. The model is a good structured way to get all this information in one source. And at the end, you can point with your finger at something you don't understand. It's easy for everyone. It's basically the same language we can achieve with the model. And with the technical support from like Yest, we can link requirements directly from Jira and report the tests in Xray. So we have a good integration of all these features based on an understandable language for humans. So this, at the end, leads to better understanding, and this is the key, basically. Understand what we test. So we can have 1,000 tests, and the meaning of the test is, I don't know. I have it almost often in my project that I cannot say what I'm actually testing. And with the model, it's easy. You can have a look at what you're testing, and it's understandable for me.
Yeah. So having Xray and Yest integrated, so we make sure that at every point in time we know what we test and why we test it. Okay.
Right, and we have the right tools for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that means that testing is always a work. You have to do it. If you have 1,000 tests, you have an effort there. So what we want is the minimum effort and the maximum quality out of that. And there we have to select the smartest test to reach to that point. And yeah, this combination of tools help us to achieve this. And how it's done, we will see later. But yeah, this is our goal.
Yeah, but to make this magic possible, so there is one thing what we have to make sure from the beginning on, and that is the part of the test coverage. So within our test models, we have the chance to directly link the requirement from Jira, and also the generated test cases will then automatically link to the stories. And so it's a perfect traceability with least effort. So for me, it feels perfectly fine. And just keep in mind that you have a project where you have hundreds of test cases in your test repository, and then there is a new story that comes in, and then you have to rethink. Now I have to look into hundreds of test cases, and which test case is still valid, and what do I have to change? And well, Yest makes my life perfectly easy, so I will use the search function in Yest. So, and just search, okay, where is the relevant part in my model? I'll just change it, update the test cases or refresh the test cases, and then push them again to Xray, and I'm done with that job. So that's perfectly easy. And also another benefit of Yest is that it's easy to learn. So I can remember that last year we had that workshop here in our office with Lufthansa CityLine, and
we throw them in the cold water, and they
we threw them in the cold water, and yeah, that was cool. So they came in the morning, they brought some user stories. We just started to discuss the user stories, what is important, and then we had a person who never saw Yest before, and we gave him the notebook with the software. And at the end of that workshop, I think it was a 5-hour workshop, so starting giving a short introduction, but at the end of that 5-hour workshop, this person who never created a test model before did it. So we had a test model, we had generated test cases. So it's, from my point of view, it's very easy to learn how to use Yest, how to create test models. And the good thing is it will permanently improve, because it's a continuous learning process, and your models will become better and better with each model you draw and discuss with your business departments. And well, when I have the test cases, I need something where I can control my test bases, my test repository. So I need to know, I need to track the test execution status. Is it passed or failed? How good is my quality? And for me, Xray is my quality window. So Xray brings all these important informations to me to see, okay, what's the progress? Are we on track? And what is the execution status? And it brings me the ability to have a good maintainable test basis in a repository. I have the planning capabilities which I would expect from a test management tool. And what comes on top, I have a REST API, and this is something what is really important for me. So I'm not interested in standalone tools, and then I have to bring things from tool A to tool B, and that's not necessary with Xray, because Xray has a REST API that helps me to import test cases, export test cases, so I can connect it with my CI/CD pipeline in various options. So that's one of the points, or one of the major benefits for me and also for our customers. So that is the reason why we have these tools in place and have them combined with Jira, Xray, and Yest.
And in the end, you have to solve all these problems, right? And
yeah,
this was a big question at the beginning of the project. Should we use, so Xray was already in place, and yes, we discussed, should we use a new tool, right? And as you said, it was really easy to learn, and it worked out, because the alternative would be that you write it by hand. Now you have an
definitely, yeah,
that supports you, and so you can solve all these technical problems with support, with the tool support, like the version control. You have to make sure that the test of this version match the state of the implementation, right? And for this, you have it integrated in Git. This is what we used here.
Yeah, and that's what we used here.
Yeah, another tool that seamlessly integrates into this whole system.
So, and at the end, I talked about the CI/CD pipelines before, and the good thing here is that Yest and Xray, it gives me the option to use a Cucumber as an abstraction layer in between. So I can create the test cases in Cucumber language, and I can use every test automation framework that somehow supports Cucumber. So it's Playwright, Cypress, you can use a robot framework, you name it. So choose whatever test automation framework you like, as long as it supports somehow that Cucumber language, which we can use in the abstraction layer in between. So at the end, we're fully flexible.
Yeah, to give you a quick summary, what we did with Lufthansa was first we start in Yest with the analysis part. We created models out of our requirements and thereby refining our requirements. And this was a cool learning that we take away from these workshops, that we have not only better tests, we have only better requirements or better descriptions that are more understandable.
Yeah.
And
so everyone talks about a shift left, and we need better requirements. And with that model-based testing approach, we start from the beginning. Yeah. So we make the requirements better when we start creating the models and talk about the requirements. So that was a very cool learning.
Yeah. And the discussions in the team was about the business side, not the technical problems you need to solve. Because when you have the model, you just with one or more clicks, you can just generate the test cases. We will see about that. And then you have them in Xray, right? And you can run the execution, you can build your reports and make decisions out of that. And then with all this information, you can go back or the Yes to for Jira tool. You can see the requirements and the models together, compare them, refine them, and you can go back to Yes and create new models or refine your old one. It's really easy to keep the test base up to date with the cycle. Yeah.
So thank you, Oliver and Marvin. It was really insightful. So before we continue, we would like to hear from you. So I have launched a poll. If you can take a few seconds and respond to the poll about what are your main challenges are, that would help us to learn more about your context and tailor a little bit the presentation. So we are getting responses. So we'll give a few seconds while responses come in, and then afterward I will share it should appear. So the poll should appear on your screen, David. So I hope it works for you. So it should pop up on your screen.
It works for me.
Okay, so we are getting some more responses, and yeah, it's quite interesting.
Oliver, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What bring you to model-based testing? Why did you start it?
Oh, I started model-based testing because I came to a project in 2013 in an agile project, and I came there with my tool set as a tester and just talking about equivalence class analysis, boundary values, and all that stuff. So decision tables. So I had everything in place. But changes in the project that were faster than me. So I always had the challenge that I say, I am done with my test cases. And then someone from the business department and the developers came and they just say, hey, we changed our requirements. So and that is the reason why I started with model-based testing in 2013, because it helped me to keep up with the speed of the entire team and not run behind. Guzal, do we have the results?
Yes, we do already have results. So I have shared the results and it should appear on your screen. What we can clearly see is that incomplete and unclear requirements is main challenge, and it's something it's a feedback we get from other customers as well. And the next several challenges are test maintenance and limited or no test automation or lack of time for thorough testing. So thank you all for answering to the poll, and I let you, Oliver and Marvin, to go on with a live demo. And
So let's see if we maybe also in our live demo can address a few of your topics. So we talked about Yest, and let me just quickly see how I can. Oh, it's not really disturbing, so I'll just leave it there. So unfortunately, we are not able to show you live models from Lufthansa CityLine as they are confidential. But for our demo, we just thought about, well, let's have a look on something everyone knows. And we just thought about, hey, let's use a calculator and think about how we can test this calculator and create models for this. And from my point of view, a typical model to check a calculator is I can type something, I can type a digit or whatever. I have to choose an operation. I type another digit, and then I have two things that can happen. So the calculator shows a result, or the calculator shows an error message. So when you just think about a division by 0, that definitely should lead to an error. That's something what we maybe should check. And what we can also do here is you see that little Jira window here, which is importing or the stories from Jira. So it's integrated. You don't have to do copy and paste or something like that. You just press a button, fetch your issues from Jira, and yeah, you can just say in your test model, you'll just link it. So there we have 4 requirements. One requirement is we have to make sure that the addition is working. Another requirement is that subtraction is working, multiplication, division. So all that stuff, which is important, and I can directly link this into my decision table. And at the end, it will generate the test cases. But when I say, okay, at the end, it will generate the test cases, you can just think of, okay, you can tell me a lot of things. But I've not seen test cases here.
And see the test cases.
Yeah, I know. You always challenge me, so I know that. And yeah, once the model is done, I can just quickly generate the test cases. Okay, that dialog comes up. So in our projects, I think we mostly use that standard test generation, which creates the smartest test cases for us. So for us, it's perfectly fine. For
like optimized workflow.
It's already optimized, and for me the outcome is it's perfect. Nothing more what I need. But there is also an option to use advanced generation settings, which at the moment we did not need. So we are happy with a standard
different set of rules that we want to compare with each other. Then we can say, okay, we want more coverage here.
It depends on you. So and that is
on the situation.
And that is the good thing. So you bring your business knowledge, you bring your test knowledge into the model, and then at a later point in time you can decide, okay, which strategy do I need? Do I just need a full path coverage, edge coverage? Do I want to test only one scenario? So you can decide it later. So, but when I remember on earlier times writing manual tests, there was always the challenge, okay, for which scenario do I write a test case, and for which scenario maybe it's obsolete because I do not need it, or maybe it's not important. So during the test analysis, I have to decide, okay, which test case do I write, which test case do I skip? And here I don't have to care about that question. I'll just bring my business part into the model, generate the test cases.
At some point will be asked which test strategy you
Yeah.
need, and this is a structured approach. You will not come around it, and it's really easy. You can do the optimized one here. So now we have test cases.
We have now, Marvin, we have test cases here. So, and you can just see, okay, what are the steps? So I'll type a number in the calculator, I choose operation, I type another number, and then I verify the results. So sounds pretty simple. And also here I can see, okay, which path in the model is covered here with that test case. And we can just also see that we have test cases that cover the other part. So Yest, make sure that at the end everything is covered with the smartest test cases.
And I can communicate
always written.
Because it's highlighted here which direction I have to go. Okay.
Definitely, definitely. And that's what you said at the beginning. You can just show on the model and say, okay, there is an area, there's something what we should discuss. Yeah.
We use the comments very much because if you have a question, you can write it down and then discuss it, and you ask very specific questions. And it helps to be efficient.
That's a pretty cool thing. And I promised you that we can bring these test cases directly to Xray.
And here was another question. Someone asked, can you import the user stories from Jira? We did. We already did. They are like in the Jira tab. It's not only called Jira. They are really imported from Jira.
Yeah.
So this is what we meant by the integration of all these tools.
Yeah, but we can again synchronize the. Where is my dialogue? It's gone.
It's like in a live demo.
It's always like in a live demo. So somewhere there
it disappears behind
in my screen sorting. Okay, the dialogue is
gone. Okay,
it's gone with the wind. So hopefully it's not blocking something else. But maybe who raised that question? Can you also import user story from Jira? So whoever raised that question, give me a ping later, and I can show you that feature in a personal session. So I'm not sure why.
Now we have the stories, the requirements from Jira. Now we want our test in Jira back, because this is where we work with Xray.
Yeah. We need the test cases in Xray, and that is the most important part. So we have Xray publishers, so which gives me the option to publish the test cases either in Cucumber language or as test cases with manual steps for testers or manual testing. So we have both options. The good thing is that we can use the same test cases from the model, so we don't have to generate new test cases. We use the test cases, and then we can decide, okay, I want to do manual testing. I would like to do automated testing. And in our sample, we can just have a look on how would it look like for the Cucumber tests. And here you can just see it generates the Cucumber scripts with a given keywords.
It's already done.
It's already done. We're done.
So the model, we have all this information in place.
Yeah.
And we can generate different outputs.
Yes, correct.
Oh, perfect.
So we can generate the different outputs. There is a little bit of work, but it's only one-time work. So we have to configure the publisher. So that is definitely something what you have to do. So it needs to know what's the Cucumber definition file. We have to connect it. And you see here we're directly connected with Jira in the cloud, but it also works with Xray Sergio, it's Xray data center, isn't it? So just to be sure that I say the right names here. Okay, so maybe we lost Sergio.
Yes. No, I was muted. Yes. Exactly.
So okay, so it works with yeah, the both options where we can host Xray, and yeah, let's publish.
We want to see the publish now.
Yeah. We'll do the publish, and you'll just say, okay, we're currently publishing, and I pressed the button as in every good live demo. We tested this before. Or at least in Germany, there was a famous guy called Jean Pütz. He always just said, okay, we have prepared something for you. And yeah, how does it look like at the end? So let's have a look. And I just said we need something for our tests. And what we typically use in Lufthansa CityLine for test planning, there we use the Xray test plans in Jira. So where we can just say, okay, these are the test cases that have to be tested. And you can just see here.
We have a complex system, right, with many modules, and we can make test plans and
definitely, of course. So we have to manage it somehow, and you have to define what needs to be tested at which point in time, and this is where Xray comes in place. So where do the planning? Yeah, Sergio.
Let me just clarify. What we are seeing here is Jira Cloud. Yeah, the UI. You know, Atlassian is always updating the UIs of the different hosting deployment types, but this one is on cloud, right?
Yeah. Okay. That's a very good hint, Sergio, because I know that in data center it looks a little bit different, and I can remember I made a demo 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I just opened Jira in the cloud, and everything looked different.
Oh yeah, they made even, you know, one thing that I didn't mention, I also teach software testing at university, and when we are going over Xray Cloud recently, the UI suddenly changed from Jira because they are doing like these changes in between as we speak. So in the last month, so the UI that you have there, sometimes some people may see it like this, sometimes people may see it slightly different. That's normal.
Yeah. So, and what you see here, or maybe what you do not see here, because I did not manage to change the screen, there you see our test case, which we exported from Yest into Xray, so you can just see it. It's written in Cucumber language as a so-called scenario outline here. So that gives me the option to bring various examples here, and this is also something where we made use of the models. So I'm not sure which test case it is, but we can just have a quick look. It's the multiplication with a not zero success. So here you can see that we have several examples. So that means we use these test cases within 3 scenarios. So also this is perfectly fine, perfectly working. And when I just check my counter or the time, so I have to speed up a little bit because there are so many features I would like to share with you.
Waiting.
Yeah, you're waiting.
As a project manager, did my features work? So I need to test them. And yeah, how can I start it?
How you can start it? Well, I'll give you I'll give you the mouse, and you, as a project manager, you can start your test while choosing run test. Yes, you started.
Okay.
Let's go.
Test now.
You want to test now. And now there is some magic happening, because at the beginning or in the middle or mostly all the time I say something, okay, it's seamlessly integrating also with my the CI/CD pipeline. So for me, I'm just using Git actions at the moment.
There it is. Okay, and it's
running. There it is. Let's run it, and the pipeline will do the job for you.
The satisfying part of this job is to see someone else working, and he downloads all the sources, and now he does the Cypress run.
Yeah. So that is always cool, and that is also the reason why I started to work in software development or quality assurance, because I can tell the machine to do the work for me.
And no one told me this is also work.
And no one told me that this is also work. Yeah, yeah. So, and there you'll see that it uses the Xray REST API to upload the result, and then here in my test plan.
I have a
at
fresh
least
execution.
You have a fresh execution, so we have to be careful of the time, because that is UTC. So it's not transferred to local time, it's UTC. But you see the run from today, and it is green, and I have something for you that's much better, because I think you wanted to see.
I want to see what works now.
Yeah, you want to see what works now.
And
that is the good thing, and I can just switch to the Xray execution coverage, which is part of the Yest for Jira plugin, and there you can see, okay, these are the test cases that are executed. Everything is green, and you can just make sure you can just have a look on different test execution results, so you can decide what you want to see. And there was a demo.
Very cool. So we can see for each one, you can see the flow that was executed.
Yes.
And the status of it.
For each one, you can
take advantage to answer to a question from Cimt. If any test case fail, can you mark in Yest and it integrates smoothly with Jira? So what happens is test execution is done by Xray. So you can either execute it manually in Xray or automate it like Oliver has shown it. And once you have the execution status in Xray, you can benefit or you can take advantage of different comprehensive reports of Xray, as well as the visual diagram showed by Oliver, which shows exactly where your test can fail. And it's all, everything is in Jira, of course.
Yeah. And I just thought I can make a quick sample, but also today, as it's during the live demo, everything is not so quick as expected. So I can just say, let's assume how is a failed test looking in the test execution coverage. So I just marked one test case as failed in my latest test execution. Hopefully it's meanwhile saved in the background. And let's do a quick refresh. And if it's not working, just give me a call.
So, but in the meantime, Sergio, we have a question for you. Does Xray provide any built-in capabilities for data-driven tests?
Yes, we allow the users to create data tables. We call it exactly data sets, where they can put like the parameters and the different values for those parameters in rows. they can also do like combinatorial parameters, and we automatically create the combinations of the different parameters and expand that. And we also have like a test case designer, which is somehow something more target for generating an optimized set of iterations of parameters. So yeah, so basically the answer is yes.
Thank you. So Oliver.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you also have a visual representation thanks to Yest for Jira. In case one of your test cases fails, you will get a hint, okay, what really failed, and you can just drill down into the decision table and just see, okay, that is the operation which did not work, where the test case failed, and it helps pretty much just to find out, okay, in which areas do I have issues? Is that important now? Can we fix that later? So it's just, for me, yeah, it works.
And you set the whole test to fail, and if you set one test step to fail, then it would show in the diagram where I have to look at.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'm a timekeeper today, so we need to
go back to the presentation.
Yeah, we go back. We go back. we go back to the presentation. So then let me share it again for you. And this is what we now saw in the demo. So we saw the calculator feature, the Yest workflow, the test case generation. We got an idea on manual tests with traceability links, but we saw the automated tests with traceability links, the automated test executions, uploading test execution results, having a look into reports, into Yest for Jira, to have this nice looking model with a green, and in case of failed test cases with a red path. And Marvin, what are your takeaways?
Yeah, so I've seen a very structured approach to do my test design and analysis and reporting. This is what I'm interested in. Yeah, does everything works, and where are my incidents? So this in the end leads to the right questions, and you can see it. We mentioned it before. The discussions are way more on point, way more focused on the important things in the project. And all the rest, the manual work, is mostly done by our tools. So it helps us in our daily business. And it integrates seamlessly with all our environments, what we found at Lufthansa. So we can just start with it, because all the tools are right in place or very easily connected. And yeah, this is what we asked the colleagues at Lufthansa. So how does Yest and Xray improved your work process?
So let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
My way of working, yeah, it's definitely improved, not only mine, but all of our ways of working at CityLine. The reason is because before we used Yest, we just used Jira. We called it Trackspace. And in Trackspace, we would just create tickets, test tickets, and have step-by-step tests. And the quality was not very good. And there was no clear structure, really. So everyone did what he meant was the right way to do it. And that's what you can see with all the projects that we have in the company, that there's no clear structure. But once we started using Yest, the structure, well, the program helped us having a structure, with the workflows. And that made everything much clearer, and especially changing things was much easier, because you have to imagine that if you have a regular project and you have, let's say, 200 test cases, and you have to go to all these individual test cases to change stuff, no one wants to do that, and that's exactly what happens. No one does it. So you have test cases, but they are like relics after a couple of months, because no one changes them, because no one is interested in changing them, because it's too much work. But with Yest, that is much easier, because you have your tables, you have can easily change something, you can easily insert stuff, and then you can sync that with our track space with Jira. So that's really one of the main advantages that we see using Yest. So first of all, to have the clear structure, to have the workflows, to know exactly where I need to go, and also to have a picture. That's really it, because it can be very abstract to test IT software. And if you have your workflows, if you have a picture and you know where you want to go, you have the goal, you have the start point, and then you can just come up with all the steps in between, because it just makes sense if you see it. But if you just have it in your head and there's no clear structure, then it's really difficult. So that really helped us. And also, as I said, changing stuff afterwards. So now we do this. Now we can change test cases. Because things evolve, and now also our test cases evolve. That's something that we didn't have before. Now, so that's really one of the main advantages that we see using Yest. First of all, to have the clear structure, to have the big picture also, and then putting that into track space, so that the normal user can actually do the tests, can understand the tests, and if some stuff needs to be changed, we don't have to go into individual tickets and change it, but we have one point of contact where we can go, which is Yest, and change stuff there, and then just send it over. That really helped a lot.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. So, of course, as we should also mention that track space, by track space, Lufthansa means the Xray and Jira, and for them it is one platform, and as a user you can't distinguish where the Xray ends and Jira starts, because you are using only one tool. So that's why it's native integration. And thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Marvin. Now we will pick some questions to respond. So I will take the first question. For me, if I already have existing test cases, can models be built from them? Yes, indeed. We have a feature which allows you to import test cases from existing. It can be in Excel sheets. It can be even X-ray tests. And then we use some AI features to standardize them and to create the first draft of the models, which you can review and complete by discussing some business experts. But indeed, you can create the models from there. The next question, I think it's for you, Oliver and Marvin. Do you have your conversation before creating Yest model or after?
Well, the question is, which conversation? So
when we talk, we model at the same time, basically, because what the model represents is the same thing that our requirements represent, and we're talking about that. So the model here is like a different perspective on the requirements and features that we want to implement, and it has the testing perspective. So how can we check the features that they do as we expect them to do, and we can visualize that information.
So what I prefer is that I directly talk to the people while I'm creating the model, because the model or creating the model leads me to the right questions which I can ask. But there are different approaches possible. So we also made an integration with the offshore test factory. So there we had an approach that, okay, they start to talk with the business about what is their main goal. Then they started to create a high-level model. And then we permanently made reviews and talked with each other. And then we improved the model. So there are various ways possible how you can do it. But the important thing is talk with the people, talk to the people with the domain knowledge. And this is the best thing what you can do.
Thank you. So the next question, Sergio, is for you. For Xray, we have to pay for every Jira user. And if there a way around that we can just use it with 3 or 5 people from our team, while our ID department has 1,000 Jira users?
So Jira, our license works not only in Xray, but for all marketplace apps in Jira. Is that it is based on the users that use Jira that are licensed to Jira. So that means that unfortunately it's not based on the users that use Xray, but it's on the total count. That's not an Xray rule. That's an Atlassian rule that applies to all Jira apps. Right? Sometimes people have what they do, if that is like a concern, they may create like a specific instance just for testing, just in a way to limit a bit their spending. But nevertheless, our plugins is one of the ships out there. So, and our goal is to provide visibility. So we always say that, okay, is really good for teams to have visibility about quality and testing progress, because visibility fosters collaboration. So that's one thing that we say that I think it's valuable whenever you actually make things visible to all team members.
Thank you, Sergio. So the next question, maybe we can pick one more question.
Sure.
Guzal, I see something in the chat I want to answer, because we have a BPMN lover here. And I'm too, so I like BPMN very much. So it's a different language. Like, I want to answer this question. It's how can you generate this from BPMN diagrams? And I think BPMN is more like a different perspective on the same thing. So we have features, right? And we can describe what the business do with BPMN. And with the test models we saw today, we can describe how to check the features. So it's a different information in that two diagrams, and we use both of them in the
in your current project.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have both. We have the BPMN and the test diagram, but they're not the same because they have a different focus. They want to give you an idea on the BPMN on the business side and the test model on the test side.
But when you have a BPMN diagram, that gives you a very good starting point for your Yest workflow and for the upcoming discussions, isn't it?
Yes, and this is where we use it for. And when you model a BPMN, the one rule of thumb is that you don't pack every information into that diagram, because then you do not see the point what the diagram wants to tell you right away. And this is here, it's the same. So you basically do the BPMN for the business and the Yest or the
Yest
test
workflow
model, right, for the test purposes, and then the diagram will be more clear. So it's not that for me, it doesn't really make sense to reuse them, more to have both.
Guzal.
Thank you, Marvin. So we have several questions we haven't the time to answer, but be sure that we will reach out to you by email and provide answers to all your questions. So thank you so much for listening to us and for your questions. And before you go, please take a few seconds to answer a short survey, which will pop up on your screen. And your feedback is helpful to improve our future webinars. And thank you, Sergio, Oliver, Marvin, for today's webinar. And thank you all attendees for their participation. And we will send you the recording of the webinar shortly and the answers to your questions as well. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.